to Megamind podcast. I'm Lucky, and in this series, we're going to delve into the personal stories, challenges, and triumphs of professionals who protect our digital world while they strive to maintain and fulfill personal life. In our episode of today, we welcome Ndapandula, a senior IT security specialist and first female CISP certified in Namibia.
I still don't know about that, hey?
Yes, you are. Welcome, Ndapandula.
Thank you, Lucky. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Great. Yes, Ndapandula, can you introduce yourself? Tell us more about who Ndapandula is,
Okay.
and if you can share a bit of background when it comes to cybersecurity.
Okay, so like you said, my name is Ndapandula. I'm a senior IT security specialist, and I primarily work, in the cybersecurity field. I studied at NAST. I think I was one of the first intakes for that major
Yes.
at the
2015,
time. I think so, yeah. So I started in cybersecurity, because I was just curious. I heard cybersecurity and I'm like, wow, I'm going to be a hacker, I'm going to be, so it was very exciting. So I think and it's something new in Namibia, so I think that's why I went for it. But it's been a journey since then. I worked in consulting, and then I am now at the financial institution.
So 9 years later, do you feel like you have made the right choice? Or you could have become something else, let's say an accountant or
Yeah.
a marketer?
Yeah, I think I did make the right choice. It's such an exciting field. Like, it's always changing, it's always evolving. There's always something new on the horizon that you need to teach yourself and you need to know more about. So it definitely keeps you on your toes. Like, you have to, when you go to work, there's a new challenge, and then you have to go back to the books and you have to equip yourself with the knowledge to tackle it.
Good.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I met you in 2016, and I believe 2017 we went to the US together as a team.
Yeah.
I think we were like 7 or 9 there.
Yeah.
And looking at you today, 9 years or 7 years later,
Yeah.
we have done so well. And when I look at cybersecurity in Namibia, like the ladies that are doing well, you should be the top 5 or top 3. That's really what I would say. And I'm so proud. And looking back, I feel like we all made the right choice. Everyone, when we went to the US, I don't think there's anyone who's still behind. We have all done well in the different fields where we're currently operating. Most of us are still in cybersecurity. 2 or 3 are just doing are into networking. So I'm very happy, and I don't regret as well making that decisions of choosing cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So one thing that we have heard most is that when it comes to cybersecurity, as a cybersecurity specialist or professional, it's very difficult to balance work and your personal life. And I also have a story related to it, where it affected my social life and it affected my relationship.
I think I know
So,
that
so I would like to know, how do you balance your work life and your personal life?
Okay. I think a big thing in managing the two is, setting boundaries. So you have to kind of set boundaries in terms of where your work starts and where your personal life starts. Because you can still go to work, and then when you're home you also work. You can also, because we work primarily with our devices, so you can work anywhere. You just VPN into work. So you have to set boundaries, like maybe say on weekends, I cannot touch work. Anything related to work, I'm not doing on the weekends. Weekdays, you can say, okay, I'll probably spend 2 hours at home after I knock off doing something or catching up on emails that I didn't get to and stuff like that. But then on the weekends, you say, okay, no, it's enough. I need to focus on family. I need to focus on...
But how true is that? Because remember, in cybersecurity, it's like it's a 24/7 industry,
Yeah.
and hackers are somehow so malicious and so aware of how companies operate,
Yeah.
that it's 8 to 5, so they'll usually come after that time. And the best time to hack any company where you want to increase
Yeah.
your success is between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So now, if at 2 and 3 you're busy sleeping, now you are being attacked, do you get notified? And if yes, how do you handle that? Do you have maybe processes in place to assist you, or do you have a team also that can maybe assist, or do you work 24/7?
So yeah, you're right, hey, because as someone who's attacking you might not be in the same time zone as you, so I think that they might succeed in intruding you while you are sleeping. It's true, but I think a big portion of cybersecurity is proactivity. So you need to make sure that you are proactive in preventing these types of intrusions, and then that's what you work towards, so that when you're not at work, you're covered at least for the time being. You have detection rules in place that can help you detect these things, and then once a detection has occurred, you have maybe like a process or a standard operating procedure that you can tap into and operationalize, so that it's the damage, at least if you're not there, it's minimized. Okay. So I think it's a proactive.
So what you mean is that a lot of automation, a lot of AI is needed in cyber.
Yeah, I think a lot of automation and AI is needed in cyber. Just so you have automation in terms of digital workers, they help you at least if you're not there, they can take over your tasks, or one of the manual tasks, or one of the most repetitive tasks is determining if maybe like an alert is malicious or not. So if you have something in place that automates that process, you can shorten the time span for you to determine if something
at what
is
point, or what experience, or what scenario you came across whereby you felt like, I think this field is not good for me, because one, maybe I'm young, I'm a lady, I will have to raise kids, I will have to cook for my husband, and this field is too demanding, that maybe I should reconsider. Or you face a challenge, or you face a scenario whereby with some of us, we got dumped because of our field, we did not have time for our partners, so they decided to move on. So do you have such experience?
I think on a personal level, I've had such an experience where I'm overloaded by trying to do a lot of things at the same time. I think in cybersecurity, you have so many informational sources, so many learning platforms, so many certificates, that I want to do CISSP, but I also want to do, Security Plus and OSCP and all these nice, exciting certifications. So I think for me, it's just a challenge of learning to prioritize one thing over the other. I also have a bad habit of trying to do everything at the same time, or trying to do everything by myself. So it's that challenge in terms of asking for help.
Yes, Ndapandula, I do believe that as a cybersecurity professional, you still need support from your companies. But now, how can organizations assist employees in achieving work-life balance, especially for cybersecurity professionals?
Okay, I think they can assist with maybe remote work opportunities, and also maybe flexible hours, like you can choose your hours, like what time like you want to work. Maybe if you want to come in like from 9 to 6, that's also possible. And you have a remote working schedule, for example, where this week you're at work and then the next week you're at home, or you are working from another location. I think that really helps, because as cybersecurity professionals, it's not like you leave your work at work. And like we mentioned before, you can get attacked anytime, and you are needed for response anytime. So flexible working hours will actually really help with that, because you don't need to stick to the traditional 8 to 5 sort of schedule. Yeah.
And I think also having assigning enough human resources to these individuals, it helps, because if you only have one individual looking after your cybersecurity, it's quite impossible for them to achieve it. Even if you have all the tools in place, you still need this person to log into all those tools, to see what's happening there, take actions, write reports. So having a support team assist and having flexible hours. So I do believe it at some point in life, maybe cybersecurity will not be treated as our normal jobs because of the complexity and such as like the time the attacks are coming. As an accountant, you know that it's from 8 to 5. You're not going to do, let's say, if you have HR person, you're not going to do payroll at 2 a.m. No one expects you to do payroll at 2 a.m.
Sure.
But as a cybersecurity person, you might be expected to jump in at 2 a.m. and assist the company.
Yeah, I think that's also true. Having the right balance of the amount of people in your team can actually help you, because as cybersecurity professionals, we wear so many hats. One day, I need to be a threat intelligence analyst. The next day I need to be a web app pen tester. The next day I need to, be a part of an incident response team. So these are things that are their own professional, like maybe in the developed world, you have people that only do these things like day in, day out. But here obviously we are dealing with a cybersecurity shortage of skills. So we are forced to do these things here and there as part of our normal job portfolio. So you wear different hats at the same time, and it also brings in burnout because you are not used to doing the same thing the whole time. So sometimes it can burn you out because you're like too tired to also
True. And I also see that what companies can do is also to have like incentives for cybersecurity professionals because of the complexity of a job. So whereby you can say that, okay, all critical skills that you have within the company, they get like a bonus, and cybersecurity by default deserves to have that bonus. That can also just motivate people, and even though that the work-life balance is difficult to sometimes maintain, but because of this incentive that I'm getting, I'm kind of okay doing it.
Definitely.
So those are also different options that companies have to look at, not to also give like cybersecurity task to an IT person, because I see that a cybersecurity person is someone that is beyond the IT because of the complexity of the field. IT individuals are more focusing on just availability of the resources, but as a security person, you need to make sure that availability of the resources, like your CIA, you need to make sure that CIA is maintained. So we do deserve kind of more. So now, at some point, it might be so difficult for you to really maintain your work-life balance, but there are some boundaries that you can also put in place, so some controls that you can put in place to assist you in achieving this work-life balance. So what are the different boundaries that you put in place as a cybersecurity professional and a lady? Yes.
So I think a big one is just to bring in your team. You like I said, I have this thing of trying to do everything by myself. So delegation is a big one in terms of boundaries, because you can only have so much on your plate. And then you cannot give everything the attention it deserves. So you need to delegate, you need to bring in people so they can also learn from you. You can work together, exchange skills, because cybersecurity, I think you need people. You need people in your team. You need to exchange skills and ideas. So when I'm not there, it's not a gap in processes, and everything also just gets done. Another example of boundaries, I would say, is also just using technology. Maybe on your status at work, you can put yourself on do not disturb. If you're really busy with something, because someone might just call you abruptly with something, but it's not too urgent that you can
So I think what we can do as professionals is that we need to be able to communicate to the team or to the company that so that everyone knows that these individuals, they're so loaded. So let's only go and engage them once we have done our Google search first. Or once, like when you're going to this individual, we know that, okay, we have tried A, B, C, and we cannot get an answer, so that's why we're coming to you. Not you to come and ask me, like, I want to reset my password.
True.
And again, his professionals.
So you need to maybe minimize your walk-in policy sometimes at work.
Yes, you need to do that. And why I'm saying communication is so key is that sometimes as professionals, we kind of assume that this individual is supposed to know already how to do ABC, but it's not their field. So come up with other policies or guidelines that individuals can use when they face certain challenges, like the common challenges. So you can work with like your IT department. Say, okay, fine. What are most queries that you receive from ABCD, and see if any of those queries are related to cybersecurity, and try to be more proactive. And if you can also use automations to assist these users. Now, by setting boundaries, something that I've discovered is that to always tell people, or to tell yourself, is that after work, there's no work.
Yeah.
Because you need to take at least the first 2 hours when you reach home, not touching anything related to work,
just
unless it's urgent and important.
Yeah.
So if it's not urgent and important, stay away, just to help you to focus on other things. And don't forget weekends, you should also rest if they need to, if you are able to afford that. And having automation in place already gives you that guarantee of setting up boundaries, that you cannot contact me on Saturday to, let's say, reset your password, because you already have a platform that can facilitate that for you. So when you engage me, it means that you have tried all the things, then only me can assist you. So that's one way to setting boundaries.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Ndapandula. So in terms of managing your workload at office, so what are the tools or techniques that you use?
I think having a to-do list is really effective for me. It can be really anything as writing things down, or using maybe Microsoft Planner to capture all your things that you need to do. And then by the end of the week, it's really important to reflect on your time management skills. If you were able to actually do all those things that you said you would do during the week. If not, you know, what went wrong? Did you maybe entertain too many side requests? Like you said, people just walking in and requesting for something. So I think at the end of the week, you need to reflect and say, how can I improve on my time management going forward? So yeah, that's something that.
And one thing I just wanted to add as well, also linked to to the previous question, is that one trick I've discovered is that you can actually use Outlook as your planner. The advantage to that is that sometimes people will pulling you into different meetings that are not even related to your field.
Yeah.
But now when you're trying to use like the Outlook assistant, that meeting assistant feature, it will tell them that you already booked during this slot. But while it's just something that you are using for you to review policy.
Yeah.
So that puts also boundaries using tech. So to the individual that is trying to set the meeting, you'll be like, oh, this person is fully booked today, so I cannot engage them. So now they're going to call you to confirm. And it's now up to you to assess, is it important or not important. So if it's not important, you'll be like, no, I have a session, as you can see, I'm booked during that slot.
True. I think one thing that you reminded me of, a thing I used to do is I used to book meetings with myself. Like to say, from 2 to 3, I'm just going to book a meeting with myself and say, okay, this is maybe focus time for something else, to review a policy, or to do like an assessment or something like that. Then obviously your status will show that, oh, you are in a meeting. It's obviously do not disturb, or something. It shows that you are preoccupied. So I think that's a nice boundary for you to just book out time for yourself, or maybe with your team, to say that, okay, this time is for learning purposes, because we still need to advance, we still need to work towards, you know, certifications and on all these things. So it can be the last 2 or 1 hour, maybe 4 to 5, to say, okay, this time the hour is just for learning purposes.
Okay, you actually reminded me of something. I had one manager, and it was the owner of a business where I used to work. If there's anything that he has taught me that I will never forget, is the OMS, so Operational Management System of DHL. Now this system, how it works is that it tells, like, let's say the line manager or the department head, how to manage a team. Now the very key element that is there related to our topic of today is TDM, so time and data management. So it's like whereby you come up with a timetable to say from 8 to 10, I only do policies. And this TDM, you can actually share it with your entire company or with other ExCo members to say, okay, fine, this is my timetable. So Mondays, from this time to this time, I review all, let's say, our firewall to see if any activities, or I go through the SIM events. Then from this time to this time, from this time to this time, I take maybe a break, because I was so busy here. So this break is maybe related to, you know, like people do take smoke breaks. So we should also have like a cyber break. So during this slot, it's my cyber break. Then after that, whereby I maybe just go on YouTube to learn maybe something quickly, then I come back to work. So TDM, it's something that we should also start thinking of putting in place.
That's a good one, definitely.
Good. So, as a cybersecurity professional, you have mentioned more of like challenges that you're facing, that you face maybe at work and all that. But what you also want to get from you is that, you know, I don't know if you already have kids. If not, when you're gonna have your kids, when you're going to be married, because I can see that when you're going to be married,
Yes.
do you always do you sometimes think of like challenges that you will face to still balance your life, because you know your kids will be demanding.
Yeah.
You might go and you might be required to go drop them at school or to go pick them up.
Yeah.
Your husband might also be demanding, and maybe your family might also be demanding. So do you think about this and still tell yourself that I think I'm still okay with this field, or maybe I need to push higher whereby I will have maybe more time available for me to focus on other things? Because when you're, let's say, like for a junior person, they, like time is not really on their side, because it depends on the company or the line manager that keeps on moving them left, right and center. So this question is not really for you, but more for people that are like ladies, you will have kids, might get married. So what do you tell, what advice do we give them? What should they think of already now to prep themselves? Do they need more qualifications for them to run away from this left, right, or you have other techniques or other strategies that they can make use of?
You know, I think it's just something that you cannot avoid. It's something that really forms the foundation of your base experience, of your I think it's something that you need to go through, so it teaches you actually like how you can effectively manage, because it's different, you know, from person to person. Someone will come out of the you know, grunt of the work and say, okay, no, from this going forward I need to leave my work at work. I'm not going to take it home or anything like that. And then someone will say, okay, no, I'm just going to make some time at home at certain hours, because maybe once you're going from work, you're going to your kids, you're going to your husband, they need your time, they need your energy. So something that might work is make time after the kids and after the husband. So maybe an hour before you sleep, you can, if you are up for it, you can also just say catch up with emails or continue with work before you sleep. So that's time that you're not taking away from your family, but you're also putting in the extra hours at the same time.
So something that I thought of doing that I don't always do it was that every Saturday I need to take 2 hours where I don't do anything. I'm just there with kids, just to give them those 2 hours attention, just to be with them. I know it's sometimes so difficult to keep up because of our field is so complex and changing almost every day. Now this leads me to the next question, which is cybersecurity certifications. So in cybersecurity, you need to do certifications to keep yourself up to date, relevant. So how do you balance your life and your cybersecurity certifications goals or plans? So do you have maybe a timetable or any document or any roadmap that you can maybe share with us that says, okay, fine, in January to March, this is what I want to do, and this may be the reason. So do you have such guidelines?
Yeah, I do, and I think it's something that every cybersecurity professional actually needs, because there are different niches in the profession. You know, maybe you want to eventually be a CISO, you want to go into pen testing, you want to go into risk and compliance, you know, threat intelligence and all these things. So there are different certifications that will help you in that regard. You cannot do them all, so you need to sit down with yourself and then say, okay, this is the path that I want to, and then formulate your own roadmap in terms of where you want to end up and all that. So you can have a timetable, for example, like I said, block out time for you to catch up, or maybe a few hours on the weekend for you to catch up or make some progress on your certifications. And then yeah, so once that's done, you can say maybe I want to do 2 certifications in a year or 1 certification in a year, and then you basically you stick to that time schedule that you set out for yourself. Okay. So, but they are really important, yeah.
Okay, good. So as you mentioned that you were the first group of students at NAS to start with cybersecurity,
Yeah.
So that was 2015. So now it's 9 years. So when you look back in that class
Yeah.
of first year cybersecurity student at NAST, how many ladies have made it to, let's say, to a senior level in cybersecurity? And those that did not make it, do you think it's maybe them failing to balance the personal life and their career, or what are the challenges that you think these individuals are facing?
There were even so little. The number of ladies was little to begin with. I think I could count them on one hand. You know,
Okay.
I just very little. And you know,
Students that you started with, or your colleagues there, how many of them have made it to senior level in cybersecurity in Namibia?
I would say maybe 3. I think it was
And if I do recall, I think you guys were like 4 or 5 ladies.
yeah, just
So,
4 of us. So
okay.
and it's senior level, but maybe it's not, you know, cybersecurity. So maybe
So cybersecurity, how many? I think it's only one. It's just you. Just be
very,
honest.
very little, you know, yeah.
Because we are trying to get what is like the challenge. Is it that they realized that cybersecurity wasn't for them, or it's just balancing their life and cybersecurity is such a challenge for them, then they decided to go and do other things?
I think it was a challenge. I myself can admit that it was actually a challenge, because it's you have to know a bit of everything. Cybersecurity, you have to know system administration, you have to know network administration, you have to know infrastructure wise, all these things, so you are in a position to better protect, you know, the IT environment. So it's challenging in that sense, because as ladies we also have other responsibilities, you know, to have kids and to take care of family members and stuff like that. So it's that, I would say, juggling all those things and yeah, prioritizing time.
Now there's a trend that I've seen with cybersecurity ladies. I don't know if you've seen it.
Okay.
Okay, based on your experience, what do you see as a trend among the cybersecurity ladies?
Oh, we're so different, hey. But like, what do you think is the trend?
I've seen most cybersecurity ladies, not those that are doing cybersecurity, those that are working in cybersecurity, most of them are very reserved, very quiet.
Okay.
And, okay, I would say most of them are introverts.
Yeah.
So, is it maybe one factor as well, that the ones that are not making it are extroverts? Or is there any other reason?
So you have to be an introverted lady.
Like most ladies that I've seen that are like at the senior level in cybersecurity, not just in Namibia but across, they are introverts.
Yeah, but I think it's a sacrifice that you have to do. You can't necessarily, you know, maybe extroverted in a sense where you would want to go out, you know, every weekend, out and enjoy and stuff like that. And I think with cybersecurity, it's not feasible to have you know, outings and all these things. You kind of have to sacrifice some time and by yourself and your work and to progress.
So this leads me to the next question. So meaning as a cybersecurity professional or specialist, it's quite difficult for you to balance your work life.
Yeah.
And your personal life.
Yeah.
And I do believe that if you look at many cybersecurity individuals, their leave days will be quite a lot.
Yes.
And
I have quite a few myself.
So is there maybe a need for cybersecurity and HR maybe to have a talk, so that HR can understand that maybe to send these individuals into mandatory vacations or
I would
forced
say
leaves?
so. Yeah, I would say so. Or maybe just apply the whole remote work or flexible hours situation. And then also just it's a triangle, right? So you have your work life, your social life, and your personal life, I think. And if you want to give attention to two, the other one suffers. So I think it's always a challenge, and I think you need to utilize your leave days, and maybe what HR can do is give us a little more, maybe one more 3 per month instead of like the standard 2, just so I think it's really important, because with cybersecurity you need to apply your mind, you need to be innovative, and you need to take initiative, you need to have a different way of thinking and getting into the minds of these attackers and everything. So you need to think like an attacker, you need to think, what would someone want to gain from intruding on your network. So yeah, that's something that really requires a lot of experience and time.
And last month I wasn't in country, so I went to visit this bank, and I started just engaging with employees there, and I asked them like, what do you enjoy about your work, and what is challenging about your work? Now, what was so common about what all those cybersecurity individuals said is that time. It was a challenge for us to manage our time. It was a challenge for us to have this family time and all that. But we had a session with a team, with EXCO, where we explained to them that if you can have, let's say, 2 days working from home and 3 days working at the office, that's going to help us a lot, and our output will be better. And being a cybersecurity individual, you don't really need to be physically at the office, so you can work from anywhere in the world. You can work, like remote work is actually for cybersecurity people. So HR needs to start thinking about this, making sure that these individuals can work from anywhere, and let's focus on the output, not them being physically at the premise, because you can protect the company from anywhere.
I don't think we are really traditional workers. Even when I think about it, my
so you're saying you're smarter than that?
No. My organization has a very strict corporate work policy. So it's things like this, like when I wake up in the morning and I have to go to work, it's like, oh, now I have to actually think of what I'm going to wear, make it professional. But when you think about IT people, we are not really, about
into suits.
Yes, we are
IT people are like the guys, chinos.
Yes, t-shirts, sneakers. Yes. So
not even sneakers. What is this shoe called? These leather shoes. I don't want to say the name, but I believe you know the brand I'm talking about. So I've seen IT people dressing up like that, but security people, we don't do that.
So it's also just thinking about those things. Now I have to do this and drive to work. While I can just wake up, wash my face, and log onto the computer. And then if those things take up, so it's also something like that we can have that discussion.
But I think with time, those things will start changing, because as we know that cybersecurity is still new. So I think with time they will start picking up and seeing that there's a need to treat these guys so special, because we are kind of like, we kind of do almost everything. We kind of need to get involved almost in everything. And I've seen it with a recent company that I've joined, is that the value that they give to cybersecurity just makes you feel like I'm actually in the right field, and I want to bring in more people compared to what I've seen with other companies.
A lot of the times, security comes about because of an attack. So it's something maybe in the boardroom. It's not so contextualized to say that, okay, so we went through an attack. Oh, let's just get someone to take care of it.
So it's more of like. Sometimes it's like audit finding, or they need to comply because of certain standards. You need to have a security person.
So no one actually sits down and say, I think how do we come up with a security department, and actual with roles and responsibilities that are properly segregated and
No, the joke I will tell you that I was once asked to come up with my own job description.
Oh my goodness.
So it just tells you that this is just people that want to take a box. That yes, we have a security person. So even when it comes to initiatives, all the initiatives that you might bring might just go under the table, because security is not being discussed at board level, so it just dies there. So those are things that you also need to look at as security individuals, to start having these sessions with like EXCO teams or HR people, to tell them that we need to take it serious, because we need to come up with scenarios where we can say, if there's one breach in a company, look at the impact. You see, so just like when you look at like the biggest risk for any company is already like you losing someone in the company or someone dying on premise. So cybersecurity should also be like a top risk for any company.
I would say it's a very big risk, because for us, even if when we lose someone, it takes almost 9 months for us to get a replacement.
Yes.
So in those 9 months, there's just a gap in the structure and
Which
in
becomes
the
difficult for you
processes.
to balance your work life,
Yeah.
because now
Yeah.
if you were supposed to go off on a
Yes.
Saturday because there was this individual that was supposed to maybe be
Yes,
there on
yes.
standby, but now he's not there. So and if you have a lead or if you have a head and you lead by example, you'll be the one now to
Yes.
be there and cover for that person. So it's quite
Exactly.
challenging.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ndapandula, for.
But I have one last question.
Yes.
Do you think we are paid enough in the
Okay, so I would say it depends on the company. So that's why I say, like, if it's audit finding, if it's a tick box, there's a high chance to not be well paid.
Yeah.
But it's better than like IT, like entry level IT person.
I would say
Entry level
so.
IT person in Namibia, high chance you not make it to 10K. You'll be below that. But if you're a security person,
No,
if this
entry
company
level
gives you
security person and entry level IT person.
entry level security person makes more than an entry level IT person,
Oh,
because
okay.
IT person you're more seen as like you're just fixing a computer, it's just this printer that is down.
Right,
But if a
right.
company is already hiring a security person, there's a high chance they were hacked, or there's an audit finding, or there's just something that is forcing them to really help you.
Right, right.
Now the challenge comes to, how do you prove value as a security person?
True.
That's a huge
How
challenge,
do you
because
prove value?
a IT person can prove value because no one complains about the computer failing or having issues. No one complains about the
Uptime,
printer.
yeah.
Like uptime, everyone can kind of see it.
Yes, yes.
But in security, you proving that value, it's so complex,
It's
because
very hard, yeah.
many people see security as like just bad. No, you're just making my job difficult.
Yeah.
No, you're just monitoring what
It's
I'm doing.
true, it's
So
true,
it
yeah.
makes it so difficult for you to prove value. But there are many techniques that you can use to prove that value as well. And I think those are some of the topics of discussion that we can also have for future episodes. Yes.
Yeah, please.
But salary wise, I do believe that they pay well.
Yeah.
So and the other techniques that you can also use as an individual to keep on increasing your salary. So
definitely.
just show your value,
certifications and everything.
do the certifications, and it gives you the opportunity to also change. If you're not happy
Yeah.
and you know your value, you
Yeah.
change. I do recall at some point I was like, I'm not going to send my CV at any company again. I'm not going to apply for a job.
Yeah.
They need to come and fetch me. And I've seen it happening, where companies are like, you're like,
It's
they,
true, yeah.
with one company, they send me multiple offers because I say like, I'm not happy with this offer. Then then at some point, the individual told me that this is our last offer. So even in the email it said like last offer. So meaning they were now tired of me.
Yeah.
But they were doing it because
Yeah,
they knew the
it's true,
value, and
yeah.
I was able to push them to the limit because I knew my value as well. So
I think we do have that.
and we do have that
power,
chance to kind of show to kind of force companies to give us what we want, because we are few in the industry.
Yes, yes.
And if they really want you, they will kind of have no
They
choice to
will,
give you what you want.
definitely,
So
yeah.
yes. Thank you so much, Ndapandula. So any final thoughts that you want to leave to our listeners? Anything that they should pick from what we've discussed today?
Yeah, but I think I'm also I'm gonna take some pointers from this discussion, because it was also really, really fruitful for me, just to enforce on my boundaries as well. And I think for cybersecurity and the field itself, I think boundaries are an important point for you to emphasize on, and also your time management in terms of what you are going to do during the day, during the week, during the month, during the year. You need to plan for these things so you always can keep yourself on track in terms of where you are going, and not to entertain too many, requests or items.
Madam, yes.
Yes, you need to say, learn how to say no, basically.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's something that you need to prioritize, because the field is so large, so vast, and depending on your organization, depending on your the size of your team and your finances and the technologies that you guys can afford, if you have almost limitless possibility in terms of how to secure your environment. So it's something that you need to plan, and you need to execute in tiny steps, but as long as you're moving forward, I think that's the most important thing.
Okay, thank you so much. So to our viewers, thank you for tuning in into Megamind podcast. We believe that you enjoyed the episode, looking forward to more episodes, and please keep on sharing our videos and keep on balancing your work life while you're protecting the digital world. Thank you so much.